If this is what your portfolio looks like, you need to watch this video. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. Mr. Zink here. In today's video, I'm going to break down the strategy that allowed me to become a full-time options trader. That's right, I trade options full-time as my main source of income. And in today's video, we're going to be covering that, breaking it down into a nice mechanical method that you can follow along with ease. Let's get right into it. If your portfolio looks like this, or this, option selling is the strategy that you need to pick up on right now. To start, let's look at the pros and cons of option selling. Option selling is time efficient, is a form of passive income, it's about 90% stress free, and you can be wrong and still win. The only con to this method is that you will not get rich quick. I'm so sorry about that, but this is not a get rich quick scheme. This sheet right here shows you what you can expect for a month-over-month return if you do option selling correctly. I have been averaging about 6.4% per month for about the past 6 to 7 months. And that's what this left sheet is based off of. The right sheet is based off of option selling at 7.5% compounded gains month over month. You can achieve this, but you are also going to inherit a fair bit more risk. Ultimately, 5 to 6% a month is perfectly reasonable when it comes to option selling. Compounding those gains month over month comes out to about 80 to 110% portfolio growth per year. And I know that seems like a lot. Why are more people not doing this? If it's 90% stress free, why am I not getting in on this right now? It's because it's capital intensive. You need more capital. And the turnoff to it is you're not going to get rich quick, but depending on your time frame, if your time frame is 3 to 5 years, then yeah, you might get rich pretty quick. If you want to get rich within the next month, that's not going to happen here. The name of this trading strategy that I use is called the wheel. You're going to want to screenshot this graphic because we're going to come back to it. The wheel is essentially rolling cash secured puts and covered calls, which are just sold calls and sold puts, or short calls and short puts, in a way that you get assigned an asset, 100 shares of Microsoft, SPY, whatever asset you're buying. Then you use those shares to collect premium via options contracts, the same options contracts that most traders out there buy. For example, if I want to go buy a SPY $500 call, someone wrote that contract. Someone with 100 shares of SPY wrote that contract and sold it for $100 in premium. If I'm a buyer, I'm buying that contract for them for $100 in premium. I want the asset to appreciate in value. The seller doesn't really care what happens because they get their premium no matter what, that $100. They keep the asset so long as it stays under the strike price that they sold, and they keep the shares. It's a win-win for the option seller. It's a win-lose for me because if the shares appreciate in value, I win. If the shares depreciate in value, I lose, and there's no coming back from it. My favorite part about selling options is the cash secured put, and I'm going to break down what that is. I'm not going to give you this slide, though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down in a way that makes it a little bit easier to understand. Let's take this car, for example. You can buy this car right now for $50,000, or you can buy it in 7 days for $50,000 and get $1,000 in return for waiting. Which of these two offers seems like the better one? The one on the right. That's because you're getting a 2% return on the $50,000 that you used to buy the car for just waiting. You're waiting 7 days. You don't really need the car right now. You'd like to have the car. But if you're going to get paid 2% for waiting, I'm going to wait. Now, let's take a look at what cash secured puts are. Cash secured puts are the right but not obligation to buy 100 shares at the selected strike price. You sell one contract for X amount in premium, leveraging your money fronted for the 100 shares. In return, you get the shares if the shares close below the strike price that you sold, or you just keep the premium and you get your money back. So referring back to the car, say this car is not available in 7 days. Say someone went and bought this car. I still get the $1,000 for waiting, and I get my $50,000 back. If I bought it right away, I'd have the car, I'd have that asset, but I wouldn't get that 2% return for waiting. That's essentially what cash secured puts are. You're writing a contract that says we will give you this asset. You give us the money. We will hold the money. We will give you this asset. In return, we're going to give you $1,000 right now. Come Friday or 7 days from now, if that asset is not available, you keep the $1,000 and we give you $50,000 back. Does that make sense? Using the same car as an example, I'm going to explain what covered calls are. Let's say you had your fun with the car for the week. You bought it for $50,000. You got your $1,000 back for waiting. Now let's say you want to sell the car. You can sell it right now for $50,000, meaning that you make no profit. Or you can sell it 7 days from now for $50,000 and you get $1,000 for waiting. Again, the better offer's on the right. This is what covered calls are. Once you have the asset in hand, you write contracts that say, I will sell you this asset 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 6 months from now. I will sell you this asset for $50,000, but in return for getting this contract, you need to give me $1,000. Simple as that. That's what covered calls are. Cash secured puts are when you're buying an asset. Makes sense, right? Option selling is super, super easy once you think of it this way. Let's take a look at Tesla. Let's say I want to buy Tesla because I think it's a great asset to own. I want to have it in my portfolio, so I want to acquire shares. Do I want to buy the shares right now at 253? Not really, because the chart looks like it's a little overextended, so I don't really want to buy them at 253. I think it might pull back a little bit. I'm going to sit out. That's how you would think about it if you're just buying shares naked. If you're looking at shares and you're saying, I just want to buy these with no leverage included or naked. I just want to own the shares right now, or I want to sell them right now. Now, with selling options, what you can do is you can look at this chart and you can say, okay, Tesla's trading at 253. I would like to own Tesla, but I don't want to buy it at 253. What I want to do is I want to buy it, let's say down here at 230. So what I'm going to do each week is I'm going to sell a 230 cash secured put. And what that put is saying is I will buy 100 shares of Tesla if it hits 230 a share. In return, you're going to give me, let's say, $200 in premium. If Tesla doesn't hit 230, let's say Tesla comes down, hits 237, and then bounces back up. I'm going to keep the premium. I'm going to get my capital that I deployed back. And then I can go next week and say, 230 was a little close. I want to buy Tesla at 225 actually. So, same thing. I sell a 225 put. I get $200 back in premium. I leverage $25,000 because that's how much it would cost to buy 100 shares. In return, I either get the shares, I keep the premium and get my money back, or I keep the premium and I add the shares. Win-win all the way around. The best way that I can explain option selling is that it is essentially discount buying. What you're doing is every year we have a Black Friday sale, correct? So what you're doing every week that you sell options is you're saying, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until we get some kind of sale on this asset, and you can assign those sales right off the bat. If I sell a 225 put on Tesla, and Tesla's currently trading at 250, that's a 10% off sale. If I get assigned on the position at 225, I just save 10% of what I would have bought it at 253, 254. You're writing yourself a gift certificate, essentially. You're giving yourself 10% off, 20% off. You are the writer of that contract. You can give yourself whatever discount you want. If you want more premium, but you also want a large discount, just sell an option for 4, 5, 6 months out. I personally do weekly contracts, and that's how I obtain the 6.4% monthly gain. Those weekly contracts give me just an absolute beautiful premium per week. I do that 4 times a month, 5 times a month if I'm lucky. 6.4% on capital deployed is a really freaking good gain. That's the average, or just about the average annual gain on SPY. Now, if I do that 12 months out of the year and I compound those gains, that comes out to an 85 to 90% appreciation on assets or appreciation on capital deployed, which you're not going to find that kind of return anywhere else. The only downside with this is it is short-term capital gains, so take off about 20%, 30% depending on your tax bracket, that still comes out to a 60% APY. You're not going to find that kind of gain anywhere else. The best part about this is you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, you can do it yourself. In the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the actual mechanics into selling options, the parameters that I look for in regards to the Greeks on the contracts, the delta value, the premium return that I want per capital deployed, all those kind of data points that you need to sell options. I'm going to break those down in the next video, so be on the lookout for that. But this was just essentially a basic breakdown of what I do. More numbers to come in following videos. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll catch you next time. Peace.